Dome Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, I got some Canelo news. Just simple Canelo Alvarez, he's one of the biggest fighters in boxing, right? Now, before I even go into the Canelo news, you guys do know that, from time to time, I will have issues with the Canelo Alvarez, with the Gennady Golovkin, with an Anthony Joshua, right? For reasons of entitlement and preferential treatment, right? Those things. To a lesser extent with the Amir Khans and the Adrian Broners and the Tyson Furies of the world, because, for something else. I say to those guys, whatever, because they like this attention seekers, always in social media doing things outside of boxing. But we're going to talk about Canelo, so, you be prepared. Canelo Alvarez seems to be upset. You hear in some articles he's furious, upset. Let's just go with disappointed because he was snubbed by the Boxing Writers of America, Association of America, whatever, American Boxing Writers, right? He was snubbed for Fighter of the Year. Now, him and his coach, Eddie Reynoso, it's like saying it's a lack of respect to not have Canelo for the Boxer of the Year or Fighter of the Year or in the short list of Fighter of the Year. And I disagree. And I told you before when I was talking about Alexander Usyk about 2 days ago. Alexander Usyk should be the Fighter of the Year, period. There is not any close. We should be talking about second place, right? I explained that in that video because Alexander Usyk is undisputed. Alexander Usyk went away in 2018, went away in all his fights. If it was Latvia, Maurice Briedis, if it was Russia with Garcia, and then to top it off, went to beat Tony Bellew in England. Never at home, and is undisputed. There's nobody close to that, period. Right? So that's it. He's the guy. But even the other guys, right? The other guys, you're talking about, Maurice Hooker, right? Went to England, beat Flanagan. Then, fought Saucedo at his home, beat him too. Right? Both of those fighters undefeated. Right? Okay, he's in there. Mikey Garcia, he should be in there. He beat Lipinets at 140-pound division after beating Broner, but Broner was still 217. But he went up to 140 to beat Broner, followed it up, stayed there to beat Lipinets for the IBF title, went back down to beat Robert Easter Jr. Also for the title, unified, right? Awesome stuff. Terrence Crawford, unified champion at 140, but we're not talking about 2017. 2018, he went up in weight and beat Jeff Horn. Oh, Jeff Horn's not all that good. Yeah, tell Mundane that, right? Who we beat. And tell Manny Pacquiao that, who he also beat. He was undefeated, right? So he follows that up with Jose Benavidez, also undefeated, right? So those are guys who I don't think you're in front of. The other guy that's in the list is Lomachenko. And I'll probably, say, okay, Canelo could be talking to Lomachenko, right? Because Lomachenko, who did he beat? He beat Pedraza. Pedraza had lost one. That's a pretty good win. And he beat Jorge Linares, right, in a pretty good fight. Right? Linares had lost about 3 fights. But Linares is still very, very respected. So those are, a real respected win. And the other one was a champion too. So, you're going to have to give Loma some props. But that's the only one I think that's Canelo is comparable to. Now, just to Canelo himself, let's make sure this is clear. He missed the first part of the year on May the 5th, right? Because he was doped, right? He got caught twice with clenbuterol. He says it was from the tainted meat in Mexico, but he was caught with, with drugs in the system, which means he missed half of the year, right? He fights Golovkin, another fighter who I complain about. Love him, Golovkin, though, but, I have to be real about some things. Golovkin on May the 5th, waited around and didn't fight anyone of substance. All of those fighters that were right there in the middleweight division, because Canelo couldn't fight him on May the 5th, he fights Vanes Monterosa, looking for fighters of the division lower than him. And all of the mandatories were there for him to fight. He could have fought any one of them. He could have fought Derenchenko. He could have fought Jacobs, who had the title. He could have fought Charlo, who was his mandatory. He could have done any of those things. No, he ignored all of them. And they were all ready to fight. Andre was up there ready to fight. Everybody. I think even at the time, Billy Joe Saunders, I'm not sure. All of these guys ready to fight. And he goes down weight class, looks for Jaime Munguia at the time, who was unknown at the time, 154. Tried to get him. Nevada said no. Then he said, okay, well, let me fight Vanes Monterrosa. Monterrosa had fought for a year and a half or longer and coming off a loss. So Canelo comes back and beats Gennady Golovkin, who people are trying to say was pound for pound. And he shouldn't have been at that point. Right? That's the problem. Right? You got these guys up in pound for pound list in front of people, and they won't fight them. And the pound for pound list, that's why I ignore them. Because I know they have this information. I know they know that how Gennady Golovkin acted on May the 5th after he found out Canelo was dope. He had weeks, at least 8, and he could have fought any of those guys. And when you don't, then you're suspect. Why wouldn't you? Right? You could have took care of a mandatory there. Nope, I'm not doing nothing but fighting somebody smaller than me. So I can follow him around the ring and front foot him, and it looks cool. Right? But he's smaller. So as much as I like Golovkin, I can't roll with that. Because it's not right. Golovkin should be considered a good fighter until he beats the rest of the guys. So he's way up in the pound for pound, way up 2, 3, whatever. And Canelo fights him and arguably beats him. And so he's supposed to be the fighter of the year for that. You arguably be the guy who's not the best at middleweight anymore. He hasn't proven it. And you didn't beat him convincingly. I thought that fight was a draw, and that which means the title stayed with Golovkin. So you arguably beat Golovkin, and then you go beat Fielding in the super middleweight division. You don't fight one of the real champions. You fight one of those belts that they shouldn't have in boxing, called regular title, and you go fight that guy. That's the one you pick. And then you, because people are letting you get away with it, are saying, hey, I'm a 3-division weight champion. People are letting them get away with it because we're making these fake belts like the WBA regular champion. The champion for the WBA is Callum Smith, if I'm not mistaken, in the super middleweight division. Or it was Katakai. I think it's not Ramirez, but these are the guys. Those are the real champions. If it's WBA, IBF, or WBC. The regular shouldn't even exist. It's just another title. It's like the guy who's not. Most of the time, the regular champion doesn't even mean he's the 5th best in the division. It means he's like probably 10th. They just give it to him. So this is who Canelo goes and fights. Still, he wins him and looks spectacular doing it. It's not easy to do what he's doing, but you're talking about the fighter of the year. You're better than all these other guys who are doing awesome things. It can't do that. And this is this entitlement that happens over the year. Because like I've told you guys before, my issues with Canelo is he's never been on the wrong side of a decision. Ever. He didn't have to go back and fight Lara, did he? Did anybody watch that Lara fight again? Go do it. Watch Lara fight again. Canelo, yeah, he looked good. He went to the body, but he was getting tagged. Getting tagged a lot. He lost it on the cards on the fight. Right? But he's going to get it. The other cards, when he lost to Golovkin, and some judge gave him almost all the rounds. He lost convincingly to Floyd Mayweather. Somebody gave it a draw. I mean, when he lost, 10.5 rounds to Mayweather, if not 11. Somebody gave him all the rounds. So he's not used to it. He had open scoring in San Antonio, which I always like to say. We feel you, Austin Trout. We ain't forgot you. But in San Antonio, open scoring. You fight Austin Trout, you lose 3 of the first 4 rounds, but they tell Austin Trout he ain't won 1 of them. He has to change. I'm repeating this for people that are subscribers. You know, it was 5 of us now. So, you know, we getting to be a few. So, you know, sorry to have to repeat some stuff, but it's 5. When we get up to 10, I might not repeat so much. But that's the bottom line. You know, those kind of things that Canelo constantly gets this kind of treatment, then at some point you feel entitled and you start losing, losing reality. You know, it's like, I don't have to be. I get this. That's been happening all the time. Right? It's been happening all the time. Don't get me started with our government. That's why we have these things going on right now. Because there's people up there, our Senate has been entitled, and they just do what they want to do for so long, and now it's getting transparent. A lot of people some things going to go down in a minute here. But it's from people up top that feel entitled and continue to do things. Right? And don't even get me started with Trump. I ain't going to say nothing about him right now. Try not to. The thing is now we have Canelo upset, and his trainer as well, upset that they're not fighter of the year. And they're not fighter of the year. Right? They're not second either. or third. There's guys that are doing things that are awesome, right? And you have to put those in a separate department. You can't say everybody's the same and they're not doing the same. Some fighters don't have to get out their comfort zone. Some fighters get preferential treatment, right? And for different reasons. We won't get into the reasons, but there's different reasons. Most of the time, patriotism, racism, or some kind of money being given, if it's a cash cow or stuff like that. Those are the reasons that come in, some kind of emotion. They know, hey, listen, every business, supply and demand. What do the fans want to see? And then, they're being honest, and that's what they think they're doing. They're giving the fans. That's why the pound for pound lists look that way. That's why certain fighters are above other fighters, and it's just a lot of fairness not there. People that like to talk fair, be it on the internet or on a mainstream media, on TV, people don't like them. Malignaggi, people don't like Malignaggi, really, right? Because he's not going to conform. He's going to say what he thinks, right? And he's tried, and it comes from a good place. Whether you agree with him or not, you know it's coming from a good place. It's not like he's running around hating on people. So, and those are the kind of people that are not. So my point about Canelo Alvarez is this is a product. We have created this monster. So we can call ourselves Frankenstein. We've created this monster. He goes through a year where he was dope, right? No matter how, missed half the year because of it, comes back, barely beats a guy. He shouldn't have got, if he wouldn't have gave him that decision, he wouldn't be thinking this. But he got that decision and went on and didn't look spectacular beating the Fielding. And everyone can't do that. Make sure that it's clear before I'm saying that, because everybody ain't going to beat Fielding like that. Okay, that's clear. That body shot was awesome. Canelo throws some nice body shots. But is that enough, really, to be Fighter of the Year? To ignore what Alexander Usyk is doing? Alexander Usyk? Or Mikey Garcia? Maurice Hooker? Those guys going away, handling their business? Even Terrence Crawford. Oh, he's so good, though, but he's so good that it doesn't resonate. Because for Terrence Crawford now, it didn't look like it was awesome to go beat up a big old Jeff Horn, right? Or Benavidez. No, because he's supposed to do it anyway. No, those are awesome things. Better than what Canelo has accomplished. So, there you have it. Canelo's upset, and I don't think he should be. What we need to do is start checking ourselves how we're going to be fans of these boxers, right? That's what's the problem. Doma Sports Talk. Worldwide. And I'm about it here, y'all.